So, one of the arguments that I've noticed tourists are making a lot recently is to try to shame people who like anime and suggest that the only reason you like them is because the girls look immature, that the women are drawn like children. They have big eyes, they have cute expressions, and this is why fan service is wrong, because if you have fan service in any type of anime, then you are sexualizing minors. And they use this to popular anime shows like Uzaki-chan, where the character is obviously an adult, but that doesn't matter. Like, they will say that if you like Uzaki-chan in any way, shape, or form, or if you don't draw fan art of her, making her plump, then it is because you want to sexualize minors. So, let's address the actual question of why do anime girls look so young? And to do this, I'm going to get Vili-chan over here as my assistant. She's an original character. Most of you don't know anything about her. And I'm going to use her in order to explain why anime female characters especially look the way they look, because for some reason this conversation is only applied to female characters, never to males. So as we look at Vili-chan, how old would you say she is? Like, when you don't know the age of something, we get the scientists to carbon date it, right? So, like, let's try to carbon date Vili-chan. Now, when you look at her, she is definitely older than 7, right? So, you can't draw something like this and try to pass her off as 7. But she is also much younger than, I would say, 40. Like, if you try to pass this character as 45, it doesn't look good, right? So how can you actually determine the age? Well, like, if I, the author, claim that she is 70,000 years old, would that make her acceptable? And the answer is, like, if you have an anime character that's drawn like a child, like a legit 7-year-old, and someone says, well, she's actually a 75-year-old's vampire, usually that argument doesn't fly, right? Because it still looks like a child. You get to see what the writer is doing. But in this situation, let's say that I would say that she's 25, right? Is she 25? I mean, it depends how charitable you are, right? Because, like, if I write her as a 25-year-old character, and I claim that she is 25, and, you know, like, she works as a maid, so she has a profession and everything like that, she should be 25, right? But if I claim that she is 17, can she be 17? I mean, she should be, right? Like, it's up to the author to decide. It's also due to the context. Like, if you put a couple of kids around her and you say that she is in charge of them, like she is a school teacher or something, and you put, like, some small kids, all of a sudden she can look like she's 30, she can look like she's 35, right? Because it's the context. It's like, what else is in the scene to help us tell? Alternatively, if I make her very small, like Uzaki-chan, and I say that she's in high school, then all of a sudden the context changes. So while one single element of context may not be enough, like in the case of you have the 7-year-old child that is the 45,000-year-old witch, like, I don't understand why people would say, yeah, no, that's a lolly. Like, I don't care, like, how old she is by the story and the plot. Like, obviously the writer wanted to draw a child. I do understand that argument. However, you do have other elements of context, like in this case, the body shape, like she's got big boobs, she's got birthing thighs, she's got the costume of a maid, showing that she's got a profession, right? Like, so on and so forth are things that leads you to that context that, okay, well, this is actually an adult and it's not a 5-year-old. Now, I would like to address the reason that anime girls have big eyes, because this is like another thing. People will say, well, why do they draw them like this, right? Like, why can't they draw them more like Cal Arts? Why do they have to make these big, oogly eyes that infantilizes the character, basically? Because that's, like, the main complaint. It's like, why are they drawn this way? Like, children have big eyes. You draw anime girls with big eyes. Therefore, you want people to think of child. The answer is actually quite simple. It's in order to cheapen production cost. Like, Walt Disney invented this tactic back in the day, and they would draw the same way. Like, they would draw characters with big eyes, because having big eyes is very easy to represent emotion. Like, as you can look here, the body shape doesn't move at all, but just by changing the eyes and making the character have, like, different facial expressions, It's a cheap way that I can use this character now in a visual novel, and I can transmit a wide array of emotions to this character without having to spend a lot of money. And believe it or not, I actually got an artist who enjoys Walt Disney, and he likes the old Disney era. So by doing these faces, they're literally what Walt Disney used to do. And as you can see, again, like, it's literally the same pose, literally the same character, but just by changing the face, and this takes not that much work, by the way, I can have the same character in different positions expressing a wide array of emotions, and it doesn't cost me that much. Now, the way that Americans used to do this is with the shit that you call CalArt. Okay, now this shit is also done for the same purpose, is to have like a character that can express a wide array of emotions without bankrupting the studio. The United States uses CalArt. It's the exact same principle. But CalArt looks like shit. And the writing in most cases look like shit because it attracts talentless people that can't fucking draw. Like, even I can learn how to draw CalArt. That is the actual purpose of CalArt, is so that literally anyone can pick it up and then be able to insert themselves into the production line and create that cartoon. With anime, it's a lot more difficult. Like, creating an actually good, decent looking anime characters, it requires skill, it requires talent. Not anyone can do it. But once you have the baseline, like once you have like the main character, then creating the faces and changing the eyes, it's a lot easier and it's very cheap to do. So this is why female characters look like children. It's because of the big eyes. And the reason for the big eyes is for the production value. But when you add the story, when you add the context, when you look at the voice actress, when you put all of these things together, it's kind of like a Rorschach test. Like, if someone literally wants to see a child and that's on fucking them, that's a self-report, right? Like, if you look at Uzaki-chan and you're seeing child, well, that's a you problem. Because most people, the millions of fans, they see an adult woman that is at the university and she's trying to hang out. And there's, of course, disingenuous people that do the same, right? Like, there's people who know that she's an adult, but they will claim that she's underage just so that they can get a standing ovation from their people on Twitter. Because the reality is that this is the superior art form. Like, I'm sorry to say, but it is. Okay? CalArts is the inferior art form. And the market is deciding. Like, when you walk into a bookstore, when you walk into a comic book store, you will see that the mangas are overwhelmingly dominant. They're everywhere. This is what the market wants. And of course, Walt Disney and all the other American companies, they hate the fact that people are choosing this over the stuff that they are putting out. So due to that, you now have like this interesting culture war that was led by Vice magazine that is trying to use the same tactics that they used in video games, that they used in comic books, where they said that video games are racist and sexist, where they said that people who like comic books are racist and sexist, in order to try to shame the companies and allow the people that are doing the attack to have power within the corporations. Now, they tried this with anime. Like, they tried really hard. They tried calling anime fascistic. They tried calling anime racist. They tried calling anime sexist. Nothing works. So now they are suggesting that if you like a character like this, you must be a pedophile, right? So any type of fan service, it doesn't even need for the anime to have like any sex scenes in it. The very fact that this character, for example, has cleavage, that is enough to cause the ire of the people on Twitter and other places to say that, oh, well, clearly the person is a vile individual, right? So you're watching the works of a vile person. You're supporting what Vice called the anime pedophilic industry, right? So do not accept these arguments. Call them out when you see them. Now you know why anime characters have big eyes. And not only that, right? Like, they will say that they look like children. But the reality is an anime character has so few human elements to it that it is the mind of the viewer to get to decide, right? So, for example, like, this is not even a nose, right? It just has like a little dot over here. You don't have that many details on the face. Like, there aren't that many wrinkles, there aren't that many elements. So it's literally your brain that is watching this, that it is deciding, right? It allows the audience to have the interpretation. And of course, I guess like American culture doesn't like people to decide for themselves. Like, they like fact checkers and to be told how they should view something. But I suppose, like, in a way, it's the same thing you can do in Cal Arts. Like, if you look at a Cal Arts character, it's also difficult to carbon date it. But the Cal Arts character doesn't have boobs, right? So because of that, it's fine. Still, I disagree with their take. I will correct it whenever I see it on social media. There are far more anime fans, and the people complaining about it are a fringe vocal minority. And the complaints that they make don't even have logical sense or are uneducated. Like, as I showed you here, the reason for the big eyes has been revealed. So I don't want to hear another comment on it to say that, oh, well, it's actually because the writer of the anime, like, he wants you to... No. Alright? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.